Hello everybody, welcome back to the great state of Montana. Hey, this is the Carbine Cowboy coming at you today. Sorry it's been a while since our last video, but I've been working, ammo shortages and all that. Yeah, you guys know all about that. But anyway, the topic of my video today, for those of you that seen it, I did a while ago a video about how I was confronted while open carrying. And I had a gentleman today make a remark to me. I'm going to use the word gentleman. I think he's a man. Could be a girl, could be an it, who knows. Today's world, who knows. Made a remark about, if you're carrying in the open, all you're doing is asking for trouble, seeking attention or being a drama queen or something. And, I tried to explain to him, people have a choice. I carry concealed and I also carry in the open, depending on what I'm doing, And, I figure it's a right of choice. I mean, people have the choice on the way they want to carry. I mean, depending on what you're doing, concealed carry isn't always the best option, especially if you're fishing. You got a pair of waders on, you got your gun inside the waders, you can't always get to it, that kind of thing, so people wear them out in the open. There's a lot of different variables, and I'm not going to go into all that. I mean, you shouldn't have to explain yourself on why you're carrying in the open. I mean, it's a free country, it's your right. And in my state of Montana, you're allowed to carry in the open, you're allowed to carry concealed, pretty much do whatever you want. And, I was kind of trying to explain this, and the guy didn't want no parts of it. And how did he say that? Gun owners like me that carry in the open or what are giving, real gun owners a bad name. And I'm like, what the hell is that supposed to mean, Went on to say something about, I was raised wrong because I'm not carrying concealed, I'm like, what is all this about? My father, growing up as a kid, my dad never had a concealed carry license. Never. He didn't get one until here about, 25, 30 years ago. As a kid, if he carried a handgun, he carried it out in the open. That or he threw it on the seat of the truck or something. I mean, he never had a concealed carry license. But back in the 70s, nobody really did. I mean, we didn't live in a society like we do today. So as far as being raised right, I would raise an eyebrow about that, because back then, when I was a kid growing up in the 70s, up into the 80s when I got to be a teenager, you didn't hear about people doing stupid stuff. People had a little bit of a higher standard, you know what I mean? People respected things a little better. And they also knew that if you did something stupid, there was no excuse for stupid. You paid the price for it. But, whatever. I mean, people are entitled to an opinion. I'll give you that. Everybody has opinions. You have an opinion. I have an opinion. If you want to carry concealed, carry concealed. If you want to carry in the open, carry in the open. I don't know what the big deal is, really. But it seems like today you have a lot of people trying to tell you what your opinion should be. Now granted, when I'm carrying concealed, I'm usually in a place where I don't want people to know I've got a gun. You get my drift, alright? But if I'm out here booning, stomping in the mountains, riding around with my boy on the ATV or out fishing or whatever, and I happen to stop into the local choke and die on the way back home or the local gas station to get a gallon of gas or something, if I get out of the vehicle and the gun's in the open, big deal. So what? I'm not hurting anything. I'm not breaking any laws. There's no harm being done. And if people take offense to it, well, my attitude today is get over it. Because, I don't know, maybe as I'm getting older, people people today, man, I mean, they're really light-skinned. I mean, if you know what I mean. Thin-skinned, I guess is a better word. They get offended at everything. I mean, have you guys noticed people, how offended people get today at everything? I mean, if you have an opinion on a firearm, and if you're not in the know or some kind of guru or something, people will sit there and try to tell you how your opinion's wrong. Well, I grant you, people have a right to their own opinion. I mean, I'll admit there's certain firearms I don't like. I have an opinion on them. There's some firearms I do like. I have an opinion on them too. I mean, it's kind of like that old Ford Chevy pickup debate, It goes round and around and around, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it just kind of upset me a little bit, when the guy started saying that, it was guys like me carrying in the open that were giving responsible gun owners a bad name, and how I was raised wrong. I mean, I don't know. You guys out there, I'm going to look right into the camera. I'm going to look into that camera just like I'm looking at you right now, or if I was looking at you right now. And I'm going to ask you, what is the harm in carrying a gun in the open when you're out and about? I mean, if you're on your way to your favorite fishing hole, or you're on your way to go ride your ATV, or whatever it is you guys do, what is the harm in carrying a firearm, whether it's concealed or in the open? Who are you harming? No one. Now, I will grant you, there are times and there are places when you don't want to maybe let people know you have a firearm. I get it. Okay, that's the whole purpose of carrying concealed. But on and about your daily ins and outs of whatever it is you do, and especially for a lot of people like us that live in really rural areas out in the sticks, in the middle of nowhere, where's the harm? I mean, I drive 5 minutes from my house, I'm out in the middle of nowhere. There's nobody. I mean, nothing but mountains, trees, and rocks. So if I'm carrying in the open, who am I hurting? You think the local bear, cougar, or wolf is going to really care if I'm carrying in the open or not? I mean, and the people that get offended, you know what? There's a lot of things that offend me today. Stupidity is number one. I'm entitled to my opinion on it, but that doesn't make it law. And that's where we get down to the nuts and bolts of it. When does your opinion start to trump other people's rights? Okay? I have an opinion. I have an opinion on a lot of things, and I'm sure you people out there in YouTube land that subscribe to my gun channel have opinions too. And by God, you're entitled to every one of them. But when you try to make your opinion become law, or try to force your opinion on other people to make them feel like they're doing something wrong, I kind of have to have a tendency to sit back. I mean, we all know that drinking and driving's wrong. That's not an opinion. We all know that doing cocaine and heroin and methamphetamine and stuff like that is wrong. That's not an opinion. An opinion would be like, I don't know, why is the speed limit in some states 80 mile an hour like it is here in Montana on the freeway, but in other states it's only 65? Why can't they make it all the same speed limit? That's an opinion. But, I'm not trying to force my opinion down somebody else's throat. I don't sit back and say, because in Montana, our speed limit on the freeway is 80 mile an hour, every state or every city or every whatever, their speed limit should be the same as mine, because, hey, we do it in Montana. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting older, and I'm at the point in my life where I really don't care anymore. There was a time when I was a younger man, when I first got married, my wife used to tell me, please don't try to say anything that offends people. Okay, out of respect, for people. I'll try to keep my mouth shut sometimes. But I'm at the point in my life now where if somebody says something stupid, or if somebody really is being an idiot, I don't have to call them out in public on it, but I do walk over to them and I go, you know what? I'm not running a popularity contest. I'm not running for president. You're an idiot. You know? I mean, opinions vary. You know? But the whole purpose of this video is to get people to understand opinion. You know, I have an opinion. You know, my opinion is high cap magazines and stuff like that, taking them away doesn't stop a crime. I mean, they were killing people with single shot rifles long before there was an advent of high magazines, right? So what's the point? You know, people with their opinions, you know, they run around and they sit there and say, well, you know, you don't need an AR-15, or you don't need a high-capacity magazine, or you don't need this, or you don't need that. Well, I could turn around and I could say the same thing. Why do you drive that fancy car? Why does the speedometer go up to 100 miles an hour? You'll never do 100 miles an hour, so why do you own one? What's the point? I mean, why have a car that does 100 miles an hour when you're never going to get to drive it that fast unless you're eluding the law? Okay? I mean, if you're trying to outrun a cop, okay, oh, there may be one or two other circumstances where you're trying to get to the hospital because somebody you're with is in a dire situation. Other than that, why do you need a car that goes 100 miles an hour? Why do you need to live in a big fancy house that consumes, you know, electricity to the point to where what you pay for an electric bill, some people call that a car payment. But hey, it's a free country, right? But everybody is entitled to their own opinion. But one thing you'll never hear me do is tell another gun owner how they can or can't carry a firearm. Now, if they're being stupid with it, that might, you know, you pull them off to the side, you know, or maybe you just get out of their way, you know. But I would never be ballsy enough to walk up to somebody and say, you know, carrying that gun in the open makes you a drama queen. Or carrying that gun in the open makes you just look like you're wanting attention. That is stupid. A, you're looking for a fight you're not going to win. 2, you're arguing with a person that's carrying a weapon. How stupid are you? And 3, why cause a fight with a fellow gun owner that's exercising their state and constitutional right? Yeah, I'm off on a little bit of a rant. But you know, this whole country is off on a rant. You have one side that wants one thing and one side that wants the other. They both have their opinions. But you know what? When it comes to your rights under the Constitution, don't tell somebody, you know, how they can carry a gun. You know, it'd be like me trying to limit free speech. Oh, you can talk, but you can only say what's approved. Well, what's approved? I mean, what's one's definition? In your opinion, what is approved and what's not approved? I know. I'm getting in too deep and I'm getting way too worked up. But, again, people, from the great state of Montana, it's the Carbine Cowboys, and see you next time.